Hello and welcome to the Dream Interpretation Podcast, the show about life transformation through dream interpretation. I'm Michael Sheridan. On the show, as always, through analysing your dreams, I tell you your potential and the obstacles you need to overcome. I'm very specific. I tell you what your superpowers are, what your special spiritual gifts are, and the bumps in life that are holding you back. These bumps are not in the way, they are the way. If you want to get your dream analysed on my show, go to dream-analysis.com, download my free dictionary from there and have a go at your own dreams, or you can submit your dream to the show. And thank you to everybody, as always, who does. Before I start off with the dreams, Judy asked me, did I really mean shellfish was evil? And really, no, I didn't. I just don't like shellfish, that's what I mean. They're evil like the same way Brussels sprouts is evil. So that's what I meant. It's just a joke. And I said it says in the Bible that you can't eat shellfish. And well, it does do that in the Old Testament. It was also a joke. So on with your dreams. I have two dreams from Sheila. One I absolutely could not repeat on air because it is graphic and portrays men in a very bad light. But anyway, the point I say it is because it means Sheila has issues with her masculine side as impacted by both dad and her brother, as is given away by that dream that I'm not going to tell you about. But here's a sequel to that dream. She says, background info first. In real life, my youngest brother is back in my life talking to me and we're building a relationship again. There is so much love between us. We're definitely together in this life for a purpose. Now the dream. And she calls the dream, Not That Kind of Love. She says, Jesse, my brother, kept singing me this song verse over and over again. And the song was sweet and the way he looked at me when he sang it was affectionate. But it was starting to make me feel uncomfortable because it was starting to feel like an intimacy between lovers. Finally, I told him, or rather I asked him, if he felt romantically towards me. And he said, of course he did. I said, no, Jesse, we can't be like that. We're brother and sister. But he was so eager to love me and he finally could. And there was so much love in his eyes for me. I was trying to explain that we couldn't love each other like that. The dream did not get sexual. She says, the song he kept singing was so beautiful. I wish I remembered the words, but it ended with, and we are one. Okay. So I already said that the first dream was about issues with masculine energy. And so too is this dream. There's another layer of it. Obviously, it's about your ability to channel and the need to work on your masculine side in order to be able to channel well. But ignoring that, it's masculine energy, which is about lots of different things. It's about confidence, belief in yourself, feeling worthy of the space you occupy, many, many other things. So it's one of those things. Let's just say confidence in yourself or belief in yourself. And in the dream, it doesn't matter that he's your brother. Dreams are different. Obviously, in reality, it's not the same. But in a dream, it's okay to be intimate with a family member, even though people who have those dreams, they wake up repulsed by the whole idea of it. But that's the idea. That's what the dream is showing, that you do not want to be intimate with your masculine energy. You do not want to get to know it. You don't want to get to know that side of yourself. And it's a perfect way for a dream to show it to you. And so that's what it's really about. It doesn't matter about what's going on in reality. That's just used as the backdrop to give you this dream that says, look, you need to get in touch with your masculine energy so that you have more confidence or more belief in who you are, feel worthy of the space you occupy, etc., etc. So it's a pretty good dream, really. And obviously we know you have to work on issues around dad because it's a masculine energy thing. And from the other dream that I censored. So thank you for the dream, Sheila. So here's another dream. Let's keep it raunchy, I suppose, from Camille. She calls this the adult club. And she says, at first I was in a camp-like place. My mom was there, but I never saw her. She was behind curtains in her place. Then my friend Anson came by and we went out. We've been friends since the 7th grade and he often appears in my dreams. Anson and I ended up in a club. I was indifferent. Ooh, indifferent, so you don't really express yourself. Indifferent about where to go. When we entered, a big black lady named Lonnie greeted us immediately. She was wearing a green bikini top and green long pants with slits down the legs. She hugged each of us and seated us at a table. She got us drinks, first Anson and then me. I didn't indulge, but he did. She took him to the other side of the table where he indulged in her flesh. A blonde man appeared next to them and started talking to us. He was saying things like, "Don't you feel guilty about what you're doing? This is the work of the devil," etc., etc. I didn't really pay much attention, but Lonnie did. Then she stopped doing what she was doing and got up crying and ran to the back. Anson got really mad and yelled, "But you need to finish." I was shocked that Lonnie was affected by what the blonde man said, and I was shocked that Anson got so upset. And then she finishes with a whole string of embarrassed emoji faces. All right. So, don't normally do dreams this, well, it's not really graphic, but on the show, but let's have a look. So we know it starts off with mom. So mom's influence keeps you behind the curtain when it comes to certain things. Now, I wrote to the dreamer and I said, tell me this about her being behind the curtain and being in her place. Because if she's in her place, it kind of implies that somebody put her in her place. And Camille said, well, what I meant by behind the curtain is that she's deceased, and that's where she is, behind the spirit curtain. And I'm like, okay, after pulling my hair out several times. I said, fair enough. But based on the other information she gave me, it still fits the fact that you say she's in her place. And so I asked about the way Dad was, and he did view that women had a place. They were meant to always have a hot meal ready for the husband when he came home, etc., etc., etc. So we know that she was put in her place, and the implication from the dream is that Camille puts herself in her place because of the way mom acted. Even though she wouldn't necessarily have verbalized this, she still picked it up. So what else have we got? She's, her hidden influence in turn causes you to hide herself. Green is the color of sharing. So the woman was wearing a green bikini and slit pants. And so it's the color of sharing, the color of the heart chakra. And Lonnie is sharing herself. Clearly, that's what she does in the dream. And in the dream, it's sexual, but that is symbolized, that's really a symbol for saying fully sharing, to give of yourself and be open. And that's really what it's about. And the woman being black means you have a fear of being open. Note that even the pants are open all the way down to the leg in the dream. So being open is your way forward right now. And we never see anything in a dream. We're never told to do something we're already doing. So it means you're not open. So you need to be more open. Let people see the real you. Alcohol is about suppressing your feelings, so it's good that you didn't indulge. But again, Anson does in the dream, and because he does, it means that you suppress your feelings through your masculine side, because that's what he's doing. So it means that you're also intellectual and rational. You rationalize, and that's part of how you suppress. Now, you say you know Anson since the 7th grade, but you don't say anything else. So, like, what comes to mind about him? Is he positive? Is he negative? Etc., etc., etc. You don't share it, so we can't really get into that. And I forgot to ask you when we were exchanging emails. But Anson and Lonnie indulge each other. This is positive in a dream because the interpretation is about being able to fully share who you are in public, because they're in public, you could say, in the dream. And now we get to what seems like a weird bit. Normally a blonde man would be correct in a dream because he would be a guide, but this guy is definitely off. Blonde represents purity of thought. So this is where some puritanical or controlling person has given you the idea that being open is wrong. And so look what he's saying. He tells you to feel guilty for being open and for letting people see the real you. And since he's been controlling, I ask you, rather than blonde, was his hair color more white than blonde? So write and let me know. I bet it's more white. It'll still hold it if it isn't, but it'll be even better to indicate what I said if it was white. The message from him is don't indulge, and that's a word you keep using. But of course, you should. You should share your feelings, share your heart, indulge in life. share with others. And remember, the lady is wearing green, so it's all about the heart and being yourself and overcoming fears about that. The lady runs to the back crying, so this is you putting your feelings in second place because of somebody's controlling influence, because of what the man said. And Anson also becomes controlling at this point and tells the lady she needs to finish. So both males are playing negative roles here. Like, he's disregarding her feelings. Like, she's upset and crying. Surely that should take primary importance for him, but it doesn't. And so again, it indicates an influence from a man in your life, most likely dad. So what does it all mean? It means your head gets in the way of your heart. Your head gives you conflicting messages. You should do it, you shouldn't do it. And again, this is due to a negative male's influence. So the work you need to do is on that side. And even though mom is at the start and mom is behind the curtain, she's put there by somebody else, really, because of the way you say she's in her place. And so it's whoever put her in her place, that's what you've got to deal with, because it's kind of like you're put in your place too. So there you go. Bit of a strange dream, but interesting all the same. Is it about sexual activity? It's going to be about life and sharing yourself and being open. So it can be anything, but really ultimately is about you being comfortable with expressing who you are. Remember that you were indifferent about the club you went to. So it's like, I'm not expressing any preference one way or the other. So it's all about you expressing who you are and enjoying yourself. So let's have a look at another dream. And this one is from Regina. She says, this is the second dream that I've had recently where I'm looking through glass. The last one had my sister dressed in black and I felt really bad for her. Okay, well, this is a kind of weird dream. And I did write to Regina and didn't get a reply. So if you hear this, the questions are going to be in it. Here's the dream. The setting is like an airport terminal with double glass doors at the end of the room. I have 2 ex-husbands and a current husband, which were all represented in this dream at different points without all being seen, if that makes sense. No, it doesn't. I think you're leaving out bits of the dream that would have been useful for me to know. I'm only joking saying it doesn't make sense. Dreams don't have to make sense. I was watching closely the many people waiting to go through the glass doors, but what felt most significant and out of place was a hospital bed wheeled through the terminal with a man in the bed. Then I see that man behind the glass doors receiving last rites. And you call the dream last rites. So my question to Regina was, first of all, you have an ability to see when people are terminal, when they're terminally ill. So you see people in the terminal all waiting to go through these double glass doors, go to the other side, and we see somebody getting the last rites. So that backs it up too. So your special ability is to know when somebody's terminally ill, when they're not going to pull through. And my question was, have you told your husbands or any of them about your ability? Because typically relationships are where we confide in people the things that we don't necessarily tell anybody else. And so that's why I suspect they're there. Or maybe there's more of the dream that has gone out of your mind and we don't know what it is, and that would tell me more. And I'm going to say this because sometimes, for most people, this is what it would be about. If you dream of a man dying or getting the last rites, it's about your masculine side dying due to some negative influence. And like I said earlier, masculine energy is about confidence, belief in yourself, feeling worthy of the space you occupy, libido, being controlling, lots and lots of other things. So if you have an area, a deficiency in one of those areas, then you can be shown it in a dream by showing somebody's dying. But here, it's the ability, it's not that for you, because we have the last rites shown and we have the person in the hospital bed, and so on. And you said earlier that you've dreamt of your sister in black as well. So anyway, that's what it is. Do write and let me know if you already know you have that ability, because I suspect you do. Let me just check your age here. Yes, I suspect you know well that you've got that ability. So it would be good to get some feedback on it. And our next dream, I feel like I'm racing through the dreams today, am I? D says, "Hi Michael, I feel like this dream is about my spiritual path and the ups and downs. I feel like it's telling me I'm finally on the right track, but there's still an obstacle I need to overcome. Thank you." And here's the dream. I was in an elevator, but I couldn't press a button. I had to punch in the floor and I wanted to go to B20. I kept punching it in incorrectly and the elevator ascending so fast that I thought it was going to burst through the top of the building, but it didn't. The elevator kept going up and down because I just couldn't punch the correct floor. I couldn't manage to get where I needed to go, so I eventually left and went elsewhere. Then I returned and came back later to the elevator, which was in a building that was just above an ocean or some other body of water. Water was getting into the elevator since it was on the ground floor. This elevator was circular, like a dome, and while it went up and down, it also rotated counterclockwise. I finally punched in the correct floor and it started to ascend. The problem was that the doors never closed, so I felt like I was on a merry-go-round. I finally reached the floor I needed to go to, but couldn't get off until the elevator operator, who I couldn't see, sucked all of the water off the carpet via some kind of machine. And she called it open door elevator ride. And again, seems nuts like every other dream. But this dream is clearly saying, and you said you think it's about your spiritual path. Yes, it is. It's clearly saying you're a channel. And the floor you're trying to get to is B20. And I've said this on shows before. When we see letters, we take its number in the alphabet. So A, B is number 2. And then it's floor 20. And 2s are all about channeling. So we know you're a channel. So is moving up and down in an elevator. It's also a symbol for channeling. So that's what you're trying to do. Activate your channeling side, but you're frustrated, just like in the dream, feeling like you're getting nowhere with it. And the dream tells you to get into alignment with your heart chakra. You need to open it in order to channel. And that's given to us by the fact that as you raise your vibration, as the elevator goes up, the elevator also turns counterclockwise. And that's about opening the heart chakra. It's also about how do you know you're going to be in the right space? It's about getting into phase as well. Like you're changing your alignment. And so while you're raising your vibration, you're changing your state. And it's going to feel a little bit spacey to you. So you'll know you're connected because you're going to feel spacey. At least that's what my guides tell me for you. And the ocean, our body of water, is about your spiritual aspects. So that fits with the dream. Bodies of water are about our spiritual side. And the water at the ground level reminds you that everything is spiritual. So if you're puzzled and frustrated because you don't feel like you're on your spiritual path, every breath you take on the earth plane is you on your spiritual path. Just by being alive, you are walking your spiritual path. So accept that. That'll take some pressure off you. And sucking the water off the carpet is about eliminating life's troubles when you are channeling you to suck it up. And that one took me a while to get. But for that moment in time, be the channel without letting life influence you negatively. And what else have we got? We got the merry-go-round. So that's going to feel like you're getting nowhere, but it's also a karmic symbol. Like feels like you get nowhere because a merry-go-round goes back to where it started. So you're on a journey, but you keep getting back to where you were. It doesn't take you anywhere really. The karmic part is because of the fact that it's like that too. So you're obliged to develop your channeling ability. That's what karma means in this context. And channeling is your way off the merry-go-round. So thank you for sending me that dream. And now we have one from Olivia. She said, let's see, will I do the comments? No, I won't do the comments. Let's go straight to the dream. She says, in my dream, it's Christmas Day and I'm walking to a bus with my luggage. I know my entire family is on the bus. They're all upset with me because I didn't choose to be with the family on Christmas Eve. I chose to do something for myself, and that was the night they all decided to exchange gifts. I somehow know they've all been talking bad about me when I wasn't around, especially my sister-in-law, Stacy. And she says in brackets, she really is like that in real life. So I get on the bus and find a seat. I know that my entire family is there, but for some reason, only the females are highlighted in my dream. My sister, Leah, comes and sits down next to me. She begrudgingly gives me a gift. I open it and I see that it is a stack of plain white paper and some pens in a red bag. I recognize it as a gift I gave her, not in real life. And I ask her, why did she re-gift my gift to me? She shrugs. We get to my childhood home and the women are in the kitchen. My mom is at the stove and is still angry that I wasn't with the family on Christmas Eve. She loses her temper with me and tells me that I can get my stuff and move out of her house. I am so upset and I'm yelling at her. Why does Leia get to stay? She's an alcoholic, does drugs, doesn't have a job and steals from all of you. I was so upset about how unfair it was. And she calls it bus full of angry relatives. So let's go back and get the name. So Olivia, what do you say in your comments? You say in real life, my sister is all of those things. In the past, my parents always overlooked me and put their attention on her. I'm the oldest of 6 kids. And I always do, usually, you said I usually do what I'm supposed to. You ask if, because it's all females in the dream, do I need to work on my issues with mom or my feminine side? And yes, you do. That's very good. In real life, my mom was very hard on me, just like in the dream. She expected a lot of me and nothing I ever did was good enough, etc., etc. And then you mentioned some things. You correctly identify your own gift. You're wondering if the bus has anything to do with spiritual leadership. So that's a good question. And this bus doesn't. This bus doesn't. And I'll tell you why now. So it starts off, it's Christmas Day, so it's about birth. And we expect to see your gifts in the dream because we have birth in the dream. But you're walking to a bus with your luggage. So this is about baggage that you've got or karma you've got from childhood. And don't look at this negatively. This baggage that we pick up is what we're meant to pick up. That's what we're meant to work on. Like I say all the time, the obstacle is the way. So dealing with this difficult start to life is what you have to work on. And you immediately go on your way to a bus. Now, the first thing we do when we're born is get fed by mom. We're on the bus. And a bus in a dream is often a pun for that. So it's not necessarily about you having a spiritual leadership ability. Doesn't mean you don't, but it's not enough in this dream to say you do. So look for other buses. But it would then be a symbol of being nurturing and caring and loving and so on, and not necessarily getting that because it's trying to give you what you didn't get in the dream. We have all the women on the bus and they're not happy with you because, let's see, did I write something about this? I just did on the end. They're not happy with you because you weren't there the day before. So in a way, it's really, mom is upset because the timing wasn't right for your arrival. You should have been there earlier or whatever. You know, in the dream it's earlier, but it's just the timing wasn't right, didn't suit her perfectly. And what else have we got? Yeah, so you got the gift. The main thing you're asking about is the gift, and you're given a stack of plain white paper and some pens in a red bag. So I like that you at least included 2 colors. White on its own is not good, just like black on its own isn't. And white would be about being controlling. So you were influenced by someone who's controlling. We know that because of the way mom was, the way you say she was. But the paper and pens in the red bag, white and red, is probably the best color combination you can ever have in a dream. And it gives you joy and hope for the future. So it's saying you have a writing ability. That's what the pens are and the paper is. And you're meant to write. And it's going to be your way to joy. And that color combination is really a dream's best way of saying, trust me on this. This is going to give you great joy and hope in life. Like very, very good. You say that you recognize the gift. So when she gives you that, you recognize it as a gift you gave her. So in a way, this is kind of like you're saying, I already know I have the gift, but I gave it away and I've been given it back. But anyway, you recognize it. So keep it this time. You already know you can write. You said something like that in the comments. You enjoy doing it. So don't look at it negatively anymore. What else have we got? Yeah. So your mom blows up and says, grab everything and get out of the house. So that's about you feeling put out by mom or being put out by mom. And because that's what happens in the dream. And that's what your issue is. That's what you've got to work on. So do cutting the ties with mom. It's really what you need to do. It's not going to necessarily be easy, but it's going to work for you at fixing all the issues because it's all women all the way through this dream, like you correctly say. So definitely is about you working on those aspects and healing through that. And like I said, the obstacles are the way. That's your obstacle. So you don't look at it and say, I could have been this or I could have been that only for the way mom is or mom was. working on the issues around mom is your spiritual journey. It's not in the way of your spiritual journey. It is your spiritual journey. So stick with that. So here's one from Heather. I can fit one more in if I'm quick. She says, before I went to sleep, I asked for a message if the path I'm on is right, if I should proceed learning about astrology and to meet with my spirit guides. There's a word missing from there. That was the dream. Here's the dream. In my dream, I'm in my company's office in my prior department I used to work in. I stopped by my old supervisor's office. She had showed up in my dreams a lot lately. I stopped to visit with her. She was pregnant with a girl. In real life, she's 40, so that's okay. She was carrying it for her son who couldn't have kids. It was his second girl, and she had carried for him and his girlfriend. I said to her she was a grandma now, and we laughed. She said she was debating telling me or not. I was happy for her and gave her a hug. There were 2 other employees there, but I did not recognize them, and they didn't say anything. They were taking down Christmas decorations from the fake tree in the office. So we don't like the fake tree. But your question was, should I proceed with astrology? And you say it like as if it's the same thing. You say proceed with astrology and meeting my guides. But they're 2 very, very different things. And what I get from this dream is don't do the astrology, but do learn to channel. And I say learn to channel because we know the dream is positive because there's somebody who's pregnant. And being pregnant in a dream, whether it's you or someone else, it's about a new aspect of you about to be born. But there's 2 pregnancies. She's already had a girl. So this is the second girl being brought in. So it's work on your feminine energy, feminine aspects, because working on that is going to help you channel. And you say the kid was in his early 20s, so we have that there as well. And then there was 2 other employees. So we have lots of 2s in the dream, which are always going to be about channeling in these types of dreams. And it says that the channeling, the 2 employees are taking down the Christmas decorations from the fake tree. So if you learn to channel, you're going to be able to find out from your guides what's true for you and what's fake. And that's it, like what's decorative and what's real. So there you go. We're out of time. That's my show for this week. I do hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next week. Take care.